We're live now.
Okay.
Hey, Faye, it's so nice to meet you
Thank
online. I'm looking forward
you.
to you in person.
Yes,
You know,
thank
thank
you.
for thank you for coming on this talk show, if I can call it that. It's not much of a show, but this is a talk we've been having, which started a couple months ago, actually, where we're trying to encourage people, lots of youth, especially in these days, see our color, the color of our skin as a barrier to moving ahead in life. They see that as an obstacle. Others see challenges in life as an obstacle. Others see getting into a new workplace or even getting into a new country, leaving their comfort zone as a big obstacle. So when I chatted with you in the course of the week, I know that you are a young professional who left Nigeria, on your own at about the age of 2021 just to set out for Canada. And, on your own, that must have been hard. And I can just imagine what sort of obstacles you faced and how many challenges you had to surmount. And I think of myself as an adult who came into this country with 4 children, and I know how much I had to face, let alone you. So tell us a bit about yourself and about your background. Would love to know, would love to hear more.
Yeah. So thank you so much, first of all, for having me on your show. I'm very, very happy to be here and I'm excited to share my story with your audience. So yes, my name is Feyimac and I am a project management professional in the financial services industry here in Canada. I'm also a YouTuber and a photographer. So yes, I'm an entrepreneur, and I moved to Canada in 2015 as an international student for my master's degree. And yeah, that move wasn't an easy decision to make because I didn't have any family here. I didn't have like anyone that would host me for the first few months or anything like that. So yeah, it was not an easy decision to make, but I had to do it anyway because I knew that, I wanted to. I didn't. I don't want to bash Nigeria or anything like that, but I knew that I wanted to live outside Nigeria during this time of my life.
Mhm,
Um, so I wanted a country where I could come study, do my masters, and that would give me the opportunity to stay back
mhm,
and work. So for me, it wasn't just, oh, I'm going to go to Canada and I'm going to stay there permanently and stay forever. It was more at the time like, okay, I'm going to go to Canada. I'm going to get a lot of international work experience so that even if I have to come back to Nigeria, I'm coming equipped with something that would make me stand out.
mhm.
So that was my plan. And this plan, I had this plan when I was in my second year of uni. So, that stuck with me. And yeah, a bit of my background. My parents are Nigerian. I grew up in Nigeria, Lagos. Um, I don't think there's anything special about, I'm just a typical Nigerian girl that, set goals for herself and then ended up just following through with them.
Wow, when you say a typical Nigerian girl setting up goals, I don't, from my experience, and I mean, you will be able to relate or, tell me more about that. From my experience, the more youth, and when I say youth, young adults that I speak with in Nigeria, many of them don't have this drive that I see or hear in your voice. So, what would you say is responsible for that? Was that a product of your upbringing, that your parents had to drum something in you to make you think differently, or what formed your decision making?
Yes, so I totally understand that because, I know a lot of Nigerian youth right now feel very defeated.
Mhm,
And it's more painful because they feel defeated because of their own government, that has, I mean, our government basically, let us down. So I understand what it means to feel defeated, but at
mm,
the same time, you can't just feel defeated and give up.
mm,
So the way I was brought up in a very liberal household. My parents are both very enterprising. My
mm,
mom is very enterprising. My dad also is very enterprising. So even those that know me back from uni, they know that I was always doing something. I was always doing something to make money, to do. There's nothing that I don't give excuses for myself. That's one thing. I don't give excuses for myself. I started making money and I started doing that when I was, I think, 11, 10 going on 11. I started acting. And
Hmm.
then after that, in uni, I started my photography business. Everybody knew me as a girl just carrying camera up and down. I started selling wigs and weaves and all of that. And honestly, I give all that credit to my parents because that's how they brought us up.
Hmm.
That's how they brought us up. Like when I tell my mom I want to do this, they are going to support me. Like no matter what, even this YouTube thing. Like I still call them. I'm like, I'm thinking of starting a YouTube channel. They're like, yeah, like you have it in you. They encourage me. They motivate me. They try as much as possible to help even invest in whatever I'm thinking of. So when I wanted to start photography, for example, they got me a very small camera. It wasn't like a big expensive one, but when I saw what I could do with it, and I started making money, I put money back into it and even improved my gear. So my
Hmm.
upbringing is definitely, I mean, I give it all to my parents because they brought us up to be very enterprising.
Hmm.
So anything I want to do, I just go for it. I have to set goals for myself. Right now, I've achieved some of the goals I set out for 2020, and I'm telling myself like, is it that my goals were not scary enough? Were they not big enough? Now I need to like focus on setting bigger goals that are more scary, that would be
Hmm.
achievable, but I guess not as easy as
Yeah.
as it looks. So yes, my upbringing definitely.
Maybe you're going to share some of those goals with us later on in the show. Would like to know some of those goals and see if some of our audience will take a challenge to
Mhm.
set some goals for themselves as well. But as I hear you speak, your parents definitely have a lot of role to play in how you have turned out or growing. But I wonder, what would you say to those who say you were lucky you had parents who encouraged you? I don't have parents to encourage me. What would you say to them?
Encourage yourself, because you cannot just again like you can't give up. There's so much to life. There's so much to life. I'm 26 and I'm just like a quarter way through my life. Do you understand? I mean, God willing, if I stay, everybody will die. But if I stay that long, I mean, there's a lot for me to achieve. I feel like I'm just starting my life,
Hmm.
despite what I feel like, oh, I may have achieved or not. So, I mean,
Hmm.
how long are you going to keep telling yourself that for? How long? Like,
Hmm.
your other aspects of your life, your personal life and things like that are probably moving, but your career, your personal development, your business, you now want to give that excuse of not having a. So you can't be selective about it. If you're growing and you're aging and you're living your life without that excuse on that personal side of things, you can't now bring that excuse when it comes to your career and your goals.
Uh,
So to me, it's just if there's nobody there to motivate you, motivate yourself. Once
mhm.
you motivate yourself and you start it, people are going to end up coming to you to try to say, okay, yeah, like there's something here, and who knows, they might want to invest in that as well. So I feel like I'm a firm believer of proving yourself to people.
Hmm.
um I'm somebody that I've always grown up being like the smallest in the class or the youngest in the class. Like even right now in Canada, a lot of the support groups that I'm on, I'm either the youngest or the second youngest. So I'm one that people sometimes tend to underrate, but I feed off that because you underrate me, that means that I'm going to shock you. Do you
Hmm.
understand? So to me, I just don't see any excuses, and I know it may sound, some people may not like to hear that, but there's always going to be something in your way at some
Hmm.
life. There's always going to be something in your way, so you cannot just stop or give up or not move on. You
Hmm.
can fail, 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 but you just have to get up and you have to motivate yourself to do that. Every morning I wake up and I'm self motivated. Like even during job interviews, that's the number one thing I say. Like I'm self motivated. Nobody asked me to come to Canada. In fact, my parents didn't want me to come to Canada because they were scared scared for their baby girl, you know. So, but I'm self motivated. In fact, I had to write a formal letter to my dad. You know, we're in the same house, yes, but he was like, okay, list the advantages and disadvantages. What do you know about Canada that you want to go there? You know, so be self motivated. Do you go for it, and people will warm up to that. And if they don't, it's their loss.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, your parents didn't want you to come to Canada, and to hear that you're self-motivated. Many people hearing you at first will be like, oh, her parents were involved in everything. But then you come to Canada on your own and look at what you have achieved by yourself on your own here.
Yeah.
And so when you left Nigeria, I'm sure that there must have been certain fears in your mind coming to a new country.
Uh-huh.
What sort of fears did you have, and what sort of challenges did you face when you arrived in Canada, and how did you go over those challenges,
Yeah. So some of my fears, of course, the fear of the unknown. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not an adventurous person. And people are surprised when I say that. Like, I'm not adventurous. I don't like surprises. You know, the worst thing somebody can do is to surprise me, and like, I don't like it. I like to know what is going. I like to have everything planned out. But when you're moving to a new country where you don't have family, you can't have everything planned out. You can have a plan, but it doesn't mean it's going to go that way.
Mm-hmm.
So the fear of the unknown was definitely a major one that it was very tough for me to accept, but I was just like, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I recorded a video yesterday for my YouTube channel that will be released in a week or so, and I mentioned in there that when I was flying to Canada and you know it was almost time to touch down, I looked out of the window. Keep in mind that I landed in Halifax, Nova Scotia. If anybody knows Nova Scotia, it's like one of the tiniest provinces in Canada. And that's where I went to because that province had the only university that offered the program that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked down and everywhere was green. I saw bushes. I was like, oh my God. I actually said it here. I was like, oh my God, I hope I didn't just make a mistake. Like, I can't see any, like, civilization. Like, why is everywhere green, green, green? But then I landed and I thought, okay, you know what? It seems like there's just a lot of greenery. They're preserving their trees and all of that. I went into the city and then I saw that, okay, like, I can see a few people there. It's still not like Lagos, where I'm from, 20 million people. It's still not like Lagos, but I'm going to take it, you know? So that was those were like some of my fears. Challenges, of course, you know, just knowing that, you know, in all my classes, I was the only black girl,
Mm-hmm.
especially being in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I was always the only black girl, and I was in a smaller school compared to the others. So just being looked to for certain topics, like, oh, you know, first of all, I was the only black girl, and I was the youngest in my class, and everybody knew I was the youngest. So those brought challenges of you know maybe being underrated. But like
Mm-hmm.
I said, most people underrate me. Just know that you've entered my trap. I like you. I like you. Underrate me, please, so that I can show you and prove myself, and then you'll be shocked like wow. And that's one thing that I get all the time when people first meet me. They're like, wow, like they expect me to just be one big madam or something. I don't know why. But you know, and they say like, oh, you're just a small girl with a tiny little voice. Like they were expecting something different. But that's you know, that underrating is there. And for me, I take that challenge and I'm like challenge accepted. Like
Mm-hmm.
so those are some of the challenges I face. But because of how I am, because of how self motivated I am, I'm going to prove you wrong and I'm going to surmount any challenge that comes my way. That's my mentality.
Hmm. What program was this that you studied in
It was
Halifax?
the Master of Public Relations program. So that was the only school, Mount and Vincent University, that offered that specific program.
Mhm. And you were 21.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. So
Yes.
much. That could have been intimidating and made a way for you to just quit that
Yes.
program.
Yes, it was very intimidating because one thing
Mm-hmm.
I find about Canada is that most people that are doing masters are a bit older. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my classmates were people that were working in government parastatals, people, in fact, some seniors were in my class, almost 60, 70, people that knew what they were talking about, people that have been in the industry for 20 years, people that are living in Ontario working for the government of Canada, people that, so I was just there like, cool,
And here comes
but
the
Faye, little Faye from Lagos that doesn't even have any connection in Canada. So, those kind of things brought their own challenges, but of course, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to prove yourself, and that's what I did.
hmm. Wow, you're certainly very inspiring. So,
Thank
um,
you.
last week when I spoke with, when we shared this program with some of our audience, we had promised that we'll be giving them resources, some sort of resource if you're facing obstacles. We need to give you some sort of helping hand apart from encouraging you. You can do it. You can do it. So what sort of resource would you be able to provide to anyone listening to you to say, hey, here's what to do or where to go to for resourcing, and are you available to be reached if somebody was willing to reach you?
Yes. So, for me personally, the biggest resource is the internet.
Hmm.
And this live show is an example of how the internet is changing lives. I
Mhm.
decided to start a YouTube channel so that I could be a resource to people that are looking to move to Canada. So
Mhm.
whether you're in Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, China, India, I'm trying to serve as a resource for you to move here. So even all my videos, in the description box, I put a list of resources. No matter what I'm talking about, I put a list of resources there, links to other pages that would help you. So
Hmm.
for people that are looking, to get motivated or anything like that, I say YouTube is very, very important. For me right now, I'm working on, because I did some work. I've worked in investing, so I'm interested in finances and things like that. I still work in the financial sector, but not in investing anymore. But the way right now I'm at a stage where I'm in the FIRE movement, which is financial independence and retire early.
Hmm.
So I just go online on YouTube and search,
Hmm.
and I find a lot of resources. And the good thing about YouTube is that once it sees your interest, it's going to keep recommending different videos from different people to you. You pick out the people that are making sense and you save their videos and watch out for them, subscribe to them. Because for me, I tell people, because sometimes they ask me, like, what's your favorite TV show? I'm like, I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV. Like, I watch Nigerian movies, but I don't just I don't even have a cable subscription, because I'm always online. I'm always on YouTube watching videos that are of interest to me.
Hmm.
Financial education, financial independence videos, investment videos. People that are looking to move to Canada, come subscribe to my channel. It's just Feyimac, and you're going to see videos of, my immigration experience, everything I've been through, and I post videos every week. So I also follow people like that actually are in positions where I'd like to be, even for job interviews. I don't just Google job interview questions. I watch videos because
Hmm.
it's different when you're listening and you're also seeing. It's audio visual, so it helps you assimilate and take in information better. So
Hmm.
YouTube is one of my greatest resources for anything that I'm looking for, and that's one thing that I'll recommend to everyone as well. If you're an academic, journals definitely look at journals, but everything again is online.
Hmm.
So I'm sorry, but if you're a millennial and you're not using the internet the right way to
Hmm.
improve yourself and to improve your personal development, you're definitely doing something wrong. Take
Hmm.
advantage of the resources that are available to you on the internet.
Wow. You're 26. You sound like you're going on 66, Faye. Such wisdom
Oh my God,
uncommon
thank you.
for your generation. We're certainly grateful for you and for, you're like a poster child, if I can call you that, a poster young adult for youth of your generation. And I am certainly inspired by your story. And I just want to encourage my audience and, please go to Feyimac, subscribe to her channel, and, every resource that you're looking for to help you in different areas will be there. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I just want to leave our audience, do you have a final word you want to say to anyone listening to you today? Anything you want to say?
So what I'm going to say is going to be addressed to young women. So whether you're in Nigeria or any country you're in, as a young adult, you need to set goals for yourself. In fact, from your teenage years, you need to set goals for yourself. Because, of course, we're from a culture where marriage is, for a woman, marriage is the be all end all. That's the ultimate goal. I'm married, so of course, I love love and I love marriage. But have your individual goals. Be financially independent. It's very important because, and I say this because I see things that are happening in my community. I see the violence against women. I see the violence against even our youth, our men. And I think it's just so important to not depend on another individual. I think it's very independent for even men too. Any young adult listening to me, be financially independent and be self-sufficient. And that is something I'll leave there because I don't want to get into the topic. So I don't want to get too deep into the topic. But please just set your goals, work towards them, and don't let anybody cut your wings. Everybody, there's space for everyone. There's enough space for everyone to shine. Don't let it doesn't have to be one or the other. You don't work, stay, whatever works for your family is great. I'm sure there are kids involved and things like that, but be financially independent and do not depend on any other individual.
Thank you so much. That is so fitting into the next thing I'm going to say. I believe strongly in scripture, and I always leave my audience with one scripture every week before I go. So this week, interestingly, I'm sure you'll be surprised about this, Faye. But this week I was in Genesis chapter 2, and what I'm going to share with my audience is that before God created man, before he created any one of us, he provided resources on the earth. And in Genesis chapter 2, verse 5, it says, neither wild plants nor grains were growing on the earth. It says, because for the Lord God had not yet sent rain to water the earth, and there were no people to cultivate the soil. So before the rain comes, before the blessing comes, there has to be work. And I find that many young people today, they want the rain, but they don't want to put in the work. However, verse 7 goes on to say, God created springs to water the land, but he held back the rain until man was able to cultivate the soil. So that means if you're waiting for a bountiful harvest, you need to start looking for resources that God has put around you. Faye is one of those resources. The internet is one of those resources. People in your lives are one of those resources. This channel is one of those resources. Latch onto every resource you can, because you know what? They are there. God provided the resources before he put you in the situation or in the circumstances you're in today. So look around you, find your resource, and start soaring, because that is what God wants you to do. You are not meant to be stagnant. You're meant to be moving forward. So I'm going to leave you with that today. No matter what the obstacle is, you have to be purposeful to keep moving forward. Thank you, Faye, for joining us today. We look forward to collaborating some other time. And yes, please subscribe to Feyimac.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye-bye.